Hey guys, Pix here from 1036. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to tack on to the video that I posted yesterday, and this is about refining your gear, and felt like it was necessary to actually do the refinement on the gear that you just crafted. And at some point I also had thought about adding that onto the video, but that video is already long enough. So let's make this a separate video and let's talk about refining. As I had mentioned in that video, it is extremely expensive, and what it costs you is refinement stones and gold. That is the base line that it will cost you, but then when you actually found a good refinement, you also need to lock it in place, and that's when it costs you gems. So I'm going to do a couple of refinements with you guys to show you, because honestly for the longest time I didn't know how to lock refinements into place, and I didn't know how people got these perfect refinements of just attack or just defense. And I mean, of course now it's been a long time, but that was probably almost a year into my Evony career that I did not know this. And yeah, so I wanted to share this with you guys. Probably a lot of you know this already, but if you don't, maybe this will help you. Let's go. I'm going to talk about some PvP generals and some wall generals, because they have different refinements. And these are the only ones that you really need to refine. You don't need to refine your subsidy generals. That is not necessary. I may have mentioned that before, but I'm going to reiterate that, because this is the refinement video. And yeah, I mean, I don't have specific, I mean, I do kind of sort of have specific reinforcing generals, but I don't have them refined. And that is just so expensive. So, I mean, Boudica, as I mentioned, William Marshall, George Dewey, those have become some of my reinforcing generals now. And they have gear, but they're not refined specifically for reinforcing. It's just so expensive. So the ones that you need to focus on are your PvP generals and your wall general. That's really what I would focus on. So I'm going to start with wall general, and I'm going to show you two different versions, two different variations. One is for a bigger keep and one is for a smaller / trap keep. So I'm going to start out with the bigger keep. So this is my main wall general, and you have your gear set that you want, and then you need to refine it. For a bigger keep, I would recommend going % for your attacks, fully %, because when you're a bigger keep, you have bigger troops. You need to buff those bigger troops. And then the important ones to buff are archer and siege attack. So these are the refinements I have for my attacks, is archer and siege attack. And then I have tried to get them as high as possible. These are, I think, all gold. Yeah. Then for the other attack, I also have just range and siege attack. And then for HP and defense, I have focused mainly on mounted and ground. And I think I want to change this up a little bit, because this is not even a gold one, and I do like to have them all at gold, but oh, did I just do something? Oh no, I accepted one, but I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to keep it. Oof, do I want mounted defense for my wall, or do you want to keep ground? Here, let's keep this because this is gold. Anyways, so for the defense and HP, I have it for ground and mounted, and I have it flat for ground and mounted because I have some ground T1s that I'm starting to build up, and then of course my T1 mounted wall that needs to be buffed. And where's the other one? Right here. I also have some ground percent. I do have one mounted percent as well, and I'm okay with that. Since I'm a bigger keep, I have upper tier mounted, give them a little bit of a boost, and look at it, it's a 30%, so I could not turn this down. So I kept this, and otherwise I have another ground flat and then a ground percent. So for my thought on ground percent also is because my ground upper tier troops are pretty thick layered, so they need to be buffed. I may actually need to change this up a little bit and give a couple more percent to the ground upper tiers. Then for HP, I have also focused on mounted and ground, and that is also sort of a mix between flat and percent. The bigger you get, the more percent you most likely want. If you do have that T1 wall, yes, you always want to keep that buffed with the flat refines on your mounted. And a lot of people have kind of a mix between mounted and ground, so then they should kind of keep their ground buffed as well. But yeah, you get bigger and bigger, and that growing is happening at the upper tier troops, so you need to buff them too, because otherwise they will die easily, and then you're just fighting with your T1s. So make sure you buff your upper tier troops. So I probably need to do some refining on my wall to help out my upper tier troops sooner than later. That is for HP, and then I do have a siege HP in here because I have a lot of sieges for my defense, so I did not want to neglect siege HP as well. And that is something that you want to do. I do have a little outline here what you want to really work on. As I said, attack is archer and siege percent. Defense, you want ground and calf flat as well as percent. And then HP, you want percent for siege. And then also, you can do flat for siege, ground, and mounted. And I'm adding siege to the flat because a lot of people have a lot of T11 sieges. That is a really good defense to have, as well as you need them to send your small siege rallies. And your T11s, they benefit from flat refines more than percent refines. They are kind of just at that border, just below the border where percent will benefit them more than flats. So if you have percent, it will help too, but if you get a good flat refine, which of course it always matters how good the flat is, it should probably be gold, then it will benefit your T11 sieges. So that is what you want for your bigger keep. For your smaller keep, I have Boudica refined for that, and it's just the gear that I refined, and I can of course put that on somebody else if I wanted to, but she's currently wearing that gear. And honestly, my weapon is not the weapon that I want on her. Also, it is not refined, really. So I'm not talking about the weapon, but the others are pretty well refined. And I have that in the event that my bigger keep is getting zeroed and I heal smaller, like my T1 wall, and then layers of my upper tiers, and I become a trap keep. So this is for like a trap keep setup. If I want to play trap, I can do that. So let's just start with attack. For attack, you want everything flat. For mounted, because your biggest layer, your biggest troop supporter is your mounted. So honestly, I think I have everything as mounted flat. I don't even have any grounds. So for mounted HP, flat, mounted HP, flat, mounted defense, flat, and then mounted defense, all flat. And this is just really, really boosting my T1 meat shield. So for a trap keep, honestly, this is pretty straightforward, and I've never been really a trap keep. I only learned about it after I've started to grow, and so I never really focused on build of a trap keep. But as a big keep, you can be anything at some point, because when you get zeroed, you can just heal bullets and be a ghost keep, or you can heal to the point where you're a trap keep, or you can heal everything and you're a big keep again. So that's, I guess, the benefit of a big keep. So this is the refinement for your wall general, for your trap keep general, just everything flat. And I would recommend everything mounted. If you did start building a good amount of ground in addition, T1 ground, kind of split that halfway and buff your ground as well. So don't neglect your ground, otherwise they're just empty points. So that's for your wall. Now let's look at some PvP generals. And if you've found the gear that you want to go with that and then refine it. So for PvP generals, really all you need to do is buff percent. Get all percent. So that is what your PvP March needs. PvP March is built of higher tier troops, and higher tier troops benefit from percent rather than the flats. The flats just add a smaller number, and the percent is a multiplication of the base stat multiplied by the percent. So that gives you a higher number. So for attack, I have all percent. Defense, I have, well, not all percent, but that is only because I still need to do some refinement, and I stumbled upon a gold and I ran out of stones. So I can probably do this refinement with you guys here in a little bit, just so that you see how it works if you still don't know it fully, and it shouldn't take too long. I may not even get a refinement that I'm looking for, and that's okay. So there, still need some more refinement on my defense as well. So defense, I didn't really focus on my PvP March as much. It was my least priority. The first one was attack, and then HP, and then defense, especially for my archers, because defense is just such a weak stat on your archers, and your archers have the range and hopefully kill the troops before any troops get to you. You might need it for siege attacks on your archers, so yes, eventually I'll need to keep working on these, but it is just such an expensive task to do. So defense, I'm gonna go for all percent. As you can see, HP, I have it all on percent, HP all on percent, and then attack, I already showed percent. And that is true for most of all my other PvP marches. Now this is mount. I'm not going to show you my mounted now because it has the monster gear on. But it's very similar, but let's go to the ground. That, I think, needs some more refinement eventually. So ground has percent for attack, HP has percent, and then defense I have percent and percent. So this is pretty well refined. Here's a lower one that I probably eventually want to get up to gold. Yep, but you kind of have to find your battles that you want to fight, because it is just so expensive. If you come across an orange one, you want to keep it, just lock that in place. So, siege, this is my big siege, and I don't know if I'm happy with the gear that I have on him, but I did refine for siege attack percent, and siege HP, and siege HP, and then siege defense, and this needs a little more refining, and that's kind of the same logic that I use for my archers defense on your sieges, and archers is just such a low stat, and for when the enemy troops reach your keep, you already have killed quite a lot of troops, so that is one of the least important ones to work on. The only PvP march that I have flat refined is actually my small siege, and that kind of goes along with what I was saying about your wall defense. When you have sieges as your defense and you have lots and lots of T11, T11 is your small siege, and that just benefits from flat refines. So I did flat refine my small siege gear. And the benefit, hopefully you know this already, the benefit of flat refines is it cannot get debuffed. So these are all flat, flat, and flat. Flat for T11 siege. And it's worked really well. I mean, my T11 siege march is pretty strong. And I mean, honestly, you get a lot of percent just from your general. You get percent here, you get percent in the ascension, you get percent in your specialization and in your books. So you get a lot of percent buffs. So it's not that you don't have any percent buffs for the upper tier that you also have. And you also can refine your dragon that you use for your small siege. You can refine that for flat refines too, or even percent. That is a... Actually, can you refine flat? You know what? I don't think I ever really paid attention to what I have this one refined to. So I have percents. Okay, I guess I could refine it for flat as well. Let's see what we can get. Oh, yeah. Most likely I can get some flats out of that too. But I have that still refined as percent. And I mean, like I said, it's worked out really well. So I don't know if I actually really want to refine my dragon now. And that is all I'm going to talk about for the PvP and wall generals for refining. Let's just do this one real quick that I saw and see if I can get a refinement out of this upper tier, because flat is really not going to do anything for your PvP marches other than the T11 siege. So I have percents up here. Of course, it would be always nicer to get higher percents, but hey, like I said, fight your battles, right? So how people get these perfect refines is you lock them in place. You just saw me lock them in place. So when I click refine, these will not change. The other thing that I would recommend is go into your filter and select what you want the system to stop you at. So you stop it at range defense, and I like the gold attribute, so I'm going to do gold. If I get an orange defense, it will not stop. It'll just keep going, and I'm okay with that. I mean, let's say if I get an orange percent, I might hold that instead of the flat, and then I will keep going. Okay, let's do a couple. So as you can see, now it costs me gems, and there's one event where you can decrease the amount of gems it costs. So these are, I only get the free ones. I have not bought the pack, and that works for me. So now you just, as you can see, these three have not changed. These three I have locked into place, and I don't want them to change. So, and then you just either confirm or cancel. If you find a better one, you confirm it. If you don't find a better one, I always cancel and go with what I have. So yeah, you just keep doing this until you find it was a golden ground defense. Of course, nobody wants something else. So even if you get a gold one, as you saw the ground, and it was a nice refine, it was a percent refine, it's like, I don't need ground on my ranged march. So it's sad to see those go, but it's really not something you need. And you will not need an archer march, archer piece on your mounted, on your ground. On your ground march. So I think this is going to be just an empty spin, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but hopefully this helped with just showing you how to lock it in place, and then you just keep going for what you want. Make sure you set the filter, and the system will stop you. And you will realize that the system will stop you for it either being flat or percent. It does not differentiate between flat or percent. It just differentiates between gold or anything else. So when it sees that it's a gold that you have filtered out, then it'll stop you. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop right here because it's not refinement. It's not a refinement event. So I want to save my stones, and I will do that at a later point. So yeah, I think this is all you need to hear about the refining parts on your gear, and I hope this helped. I talked about wall, generals, big keeps and small keeps, as well as PvP generals, and honestly, don't even think about refining anything else. It just is too expensive to worry about anything else. I know some people also have their development generals refined. Let's see, like their gathering gear so that they can gather faster. And let's have a quick look what we actually get. So you get lumber, gathering speed, stone ore. You get all these gathering speeds, so you can gather faster. You're not getting more, you're just getting it faster. And sure, you can maybe do a couple of spins, but I wouldn't work hard on it. And I think I did do a couple of spins on a few of them, where I get maybe one good one or two good ones, and one just a random one that eventually appeared with another one, and I was happy with that. But I did not go all out and went gold on my refinements on my development gear. So I think for most people, they should really focus, if they want to get into PvP, they should really focus on just the PvP generals, refine those, because those stones are just so hard to come by, or honestly, they just vanish so fast once you start refining. So I hope this helped you in addition to the PvP gear. I guess this is kind of a combo, and yeah, like this video if you did, subscribe if you haven't done so already, share this with your alliance, and I will see you guys in the next round.